Okay. So look, I teased about, I wanted to talk to you about the 7-inch step up at the building. 7-inch step up. And remember, there's an 11-inch step up here. So let's just draw it in here. There's 11, and then there's 7. Now, I wanted someone to call me out on that pipe deal. So here's the pipe. All right, it just made it easy for them to run the pipe like this and make that bend there. This is flat here, but you'll see that it's actually, the sprinkler heads are turned up. So it gives you a lot more room to run the sprinkler systems. For the heads, they're turned up in a couple places, like right there. And you can see the standoff. That's that bar right there that keeps it places it. Right, let me calm down, move to the location. That places it. So, what do we learn from this? We learn from this that the lower part of the deck, where the planter box and the platform is where the condition is bad before at the 11-inch step up. Okay, and this area here, underneath of when you first step out of 111 onto the upper level, that 11-foot bump out. So it's like that. This is 11 feet. All right, and this is 7 feet. All right, 711. And coincidentally, yes, it's 7-foot step up to go into the structure and 11-foot step down onto here to put you at the underside here. So now let's look at this. So I want you to, you can start looking many times you want, but there's a really faded there. That's where she's going to, you'll see that. You'll see what's going on. But what you need to observe is that this part of the structure, where we first come out, that 11 foot, is in sound condition. This is the part that has the water penetration. They did the core sample approximately by the column, right by where the planter box was. And they did a core sample outside there. So that's way back here in this, and so you can see that this is all had a water issue, as you can see with the flaking paint. Let's play it. All right, so faintly you may see the 7-inch. It's only 7-inch, so it's not much of a visual you're going to observe. So this is flat, and that's that step up again from 11 inches onto this elevation here, and then this it's still 11 inches, so it looks like that. It's an 11-inch step up. This is this section here, all the way over to this plane here. Now I'll try to stop it, but just let you see it. Let's look at it again. You can see the gradation of the lighting, how it stops, comes clean there. So they also, again, the heads on this sprinkler head is turned down. The other one's turned up, but you can see here that they crisscross. So it's not exactly on the ceiling, is it? Over here, you see how much is really stepped down. That's approximately our 7 inches. Right there, 7 inches. Let's clean that up, and you take a look at that again over here. So there's our 7-inch. Now let's see if I can catch her when she spins it around a bit, or you see a little more detail of it. I recall she spins around. Let me just catch it. So again, we've got 7-inch standoff, which would cover our issue with the step up. But what you'll notice is that, so it's pretty hard to see, is that that condition over here, the 11 foot of that patio is okay, even though it's exposed to the elements. That is okay. So as we look at it, this patio, there's that 11 inch. It goes up, I'm sorry, that's the pad, and then it goes up 11 inches, and then it comes over to here. then we have a 7-inch step up into the structure. Okay, I'll pause it there. Now, let's look at it more closely now. Aha. So it's retaining water, that pad, that deck above is retaining water right in line with our beam. So it's either coming from the patio itself, stockpiling material, the water up there and draining down the edge of where the patio is, or it's coming from the outside of the patio, coming over, saturating, and we get the flaking again of the BMA. And you can, guys, that's beam type A. This is BMA. Remember, post-tensioning was specified in the structure. It was nowhere did I find it, and it was post-tensioning. Post-tensioning would be in the form of a BMA bar. And again, by coincidence, NIST did this investigation in the 80s with the BMA, and it's post-tensioning bar. So I theorized it would have been these BMAs and the long bars coming through here and post-tensioned. But now we're looking at the back side of it. So we have our deck thickness, then an elevation of 11 inches. We have some issue there, and significant issue on this beam, delaminating the paint, moisture. You can read into it how you want. We don't have a chance to look at it again. They engage the BMA with the decking, as you can see, sideways. So here you can see the little bit of reveal. So the deck was engaged. Let's see. So let's do this beam. Okay, this is the beam here. And they put the beam, the decking, engaged into it like that. So not sure how they engaged it, but the BMA, I'm not saying it's equal with the surface of the above us, but let's talk about that for a minute. Here's a planter box, and they put it over top of the column. You can see where all you would need is this separation here. So this deck right here collapsing down, separating here. Then you'd be able to get ring around a rosy. Of course, it would have to be on the other side also for the planter box to drop down along here. Along here with the green grass we see in another video. So that's one form of it. And this is approximately, let's think about that, approximately the thickness of the deck. Their core sample was out here. And this is approximately the thickness of the deck coming continuously over, and then he added the additional 11 inches on top of that. So let's do this. And then now there's your 11 inches here. And then it's a step up into the structure, 7 inches here. So this is room 111. So room 7 inches, come over 11 feet. 11 feet. Let's clean that up. I'll just do 11 feet. So not to confuse you, so let's do feet, all right, FT. These are 7 inches, all right. And this is 111. So you went out 11 feet this direction, and then you turn down 11 inches. And then you add your floor, your decking, your 9.5 inches roughly, 9.5. This is approximately our 9.5, I believe. And this is now, it's probably setting close to on top of this BMA. We would need to see that BMA. Did they do, watch how I do the, I'm going to do this first. So this is we're looking at it from the end. Now, did they do the stirrups like this, which allowed the concrete floor, the upper level floor, to then be poured the additional, I don't know what the sample is up there on that 11-foot step out, 8 inches. Did they do that? Now this engages the steel and also makes this composite. This BMA now looks composite like that. The other option is they do the BMA and they just go right across it. Did they go right across it? I don't think so. I think they engaged it, and I think I don't think they made it equal with the floor. The BMA equal with the floor over here. Over here, this just appears that it would tie in that way. And now that brings the question to how then what's the next pour? Did they pour the upper deck next? So did they do this? Did they first pour the pad, right? So let's do the pad. Here's this pad right here. So did they first pour the pad? It's the BMA, all right? Did they engage it with, I guess I'll just keep the same color for that, with steel, right, into the side of that. And did they, if that's the case, is this BMA here, what size is it? It would have to be 11 inches plus the depth of the deck, so it would be 11 inches step up, plus the deck, this depth right here, so that's like 9 inches. And then we have this reveal left, about 4 inches. Let me get that right. So 9, 11, yeah. So we got about 24-inch depth BMA. 24 inches. And if that's the case, then it's engaged like this. And it's sort of even across the top, and then they put a wear layer, a tile, or something like that. But that allows water to penetrate there and come down to the face and do this damage. I don't see any sagging on this pad though as I look at it. Out here we see a lot of flaking and water paint. You know, we see this fracture here, and that's very interesting because now that makes me think that they did it differently, that the pad was poured up to here, and they added these angles, these L brackets like that, and then they poured on this kind of oddly. They poured this. So here's your 11 inches. There's this. This is that. Because it's such a beautiful fracture here, a water deviation there, if you will, a signal. And so it's like they built, they did that, and then they built this, which would be a little more troublesome, you think, a monolithic pour like that. So it would be nice to know, is this monolithic, this section here, not counting this. And I'll show you that in a second. I think she gives us one more turnaround, so let's take the turnaround.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so it's almost, we can almost see it above her head to the right here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So now we go back to here.
I got it. The 7.
This is what I mean by that. See that right there? That it's just like, just indicates so beautifully. I'll move it in a second. That line, and then you see good concrete here. And then we see this line here, which is indicated here. Of course, you see the map, the fractures, and you get all types of crap. But let's creep up to it. So it's not at the very edge. She still has some more concrete right there. That goes up. All right, so let's see if I can get you an image of that. Let's go a little slower. I had it before.
Okay.
It's right about there. So here you see this nice concrete. All right, the underside, and there's the face. And then, so you have that weird way they probably built this. The two pours, that 11-inch plus the end of the slab, if you will, was built like that. Now, could they build that first and then butted a slab into it? Sure, that works for me too. It in essence makes a beam for the slab at the end. So let's look at it from this way. And this is this. So this will be 11 inches exposed plus the 9.5, let's call it, for the decking, the core sample. So this makes 20.5 inches, roughly thereabouts. So 20.5 inches. Let's go 20.5 inches. And no, it's not 20.5, is it? So I have to do that. I have to change that to 6. All right, 9.6 inches. All right, so this becomes a beam because it's probably got stirrups in it. All right, stirrups on it. That's this guy right here, and it's some above it. And then they attach their 9.6 inch deck to it. 9.5. We know it is 9.5. So, you know, I'll change this to 20 and did I get 20? Yeah. Yeah. So let's go to 9.5. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. My brain here. I'm just trying to look at that. I'm trying to figure out how this became so clean. It's two pours, and I have it that they probably poured the deck first, and then they poured this beam next. And then they maybe poured it's either monolithic, or then they poured this top section left. So the beam it's significant size. They could have poured the beam and made the rebar stick out of it. You know, although the rebar states it will go into the beam in this capacity. So if you look at the bird's eye view, it shows the hooks like that 90s going into the top from here, from this pad here, into the top of this. So, you know, that would be last or monolithically. Might end the video on that already. So I'll end the video with this to show you that there is the L shape, right, going into the BMA style, the BMA design, and you see it here also is 11-inch transition, and they also show that the reinforcement from the deck comes over and turns like that. It's right there, so it engages into the BMA in that capacity. So deck over now to this area here. We see also it's elevated, right? And so it also engages into the deck, as you can see there, into the BMA side mounted. All right, side mounted hooks. All right, just thought I'd show you that, and here also at the structure. So when you next video, when we talk about collapsing again, about the engulfing towards the structure, what would you see? How would you see the failing? Well, we'd like to see some rebar, but we see this pad on the floor. We see this pad on the floor with the excavator cleaning off a few sections. We see slight debris more beyond it, stockpiled like that. But we see this pad, this area specifically, on the ground, combined. But this BMA has to be addressed because it's pretty tall. It's 25 inches or 25 inches. Yeah, I think I said 2 feet before, didn't I? It's 20 and a half inches, 20 and a half inches, something like that. I know what to say, 20 and 5/12 inches. How's that for a joke? All right. Another friend of mine says I need a quarter and a quarter. I like those jokes. It's a half inch for you guys who don't know. And then we do 30 seconds for jokes also. And then of course it gets carried away, 64th and all, etc. But you can see that this is the anchorage that they used into that elevation change of 11 inches. And this is where that water is an issue. This is where the core sample was taken. A little closer. This is where the planter box goes down around it. Remember that the BMA has got the deck tied into it sideways as you present it right here. So the deck is side into this two sides. So it appears the deck is, let me clear that up. The deck and the BMA, the max height of the BMA might be the max height of also the deck. That they built the BMAs at elevation. I don't know that to be true, but that would explain a lot of the deck failing also. Or the BMAs, the question is, are the BMAs built at elevation, deck elevation? Or are they built below the deck elevation and the deck is on top of them? I think per this drawing, the BMAs are built at elevation. Because I don't see a step down BMA. I don't see that. The BMA is described as just, like that. Not step down, step down BMA when there's the deck on top of it, which would be here. So just guessing right now, because we don't have the full detail of it. BMA is built at elevation, which would allow for that water to come, which we see a little bit of water there in that 11-foot section. Remember, 11 foot sticks out, 7 foot over here. And it's the most pretty ceiling there. This ceiling looks like crap back here, and with the exception of some water over there, which shows because of the hooks going into there. That means a cold joint, that you're getting a cold joint when you're doing the two of them separately. So the BMA, the question is, step down or at elevation? Think about that, though, because this is 11 inches higher than down here. So it's not possible that you can tie into the BMA at the top. I was going to let that go, but I think I'll just tell you. It's not possible that you tie into the side of the BMA there with that type of design without it being a step. Hey, George. Step down type BMA. So the top deck has got this bar. Hey, Georgie. What's up, dude? Come here. He's just chilling out. So it appears to be a step down type BMA. Of course, because we're up here 11 inches, we don't see, when you look out there, you don't see 11 inches elevation above the pool deck. The 11-inch elevation, we don't see that above the pool deck over here, do we? Oops. So here's our step up, our 11 inches, and then step down 11 inches. So 11 inches to the surface of the deck. Step up of 11 inches. So we got all this planter box material there that could hide the BMA, couldn't it? But that would mean the BMA would come across from that height into the planter box, at the 11-inch height. I don't see that. So it appears there's a step-down BMA of a type. Very, very interesting to try to figure this out. I need more details. I know what the plans state, but then I see the real true configuration of it is not as simple as what the plans state. Making it look like one size, not stepped down. So there's our 11 inches there, the lighter part, our 11-inch transition down to deck level. Don't count that planter box, this lower grass planter box is anything. Our deck level is here, our 11-inch step up is here and onto the patio there or 11 feet deep back to the structure. So, did they run that BMA all the way out to there, to that column, and this planter box has got this weird configuration of around it? I doubt it. I think it's a stepped BMA. I really think this is a stepped BMA. Do I? So I want to end this with a brain teaser for you that this is the BMA, right? Right here, going across, brain teaser, going across. But across these columns here, these column heads, they configured a critical shear zone of with 16 number 5s in 2 directions. Okay, 16 number 5s in 2 directions. That includes, it would be going through, engulfing the BMA. So that deck goes over to there. And then what happens with it, because this deck is flat out here, the BMA is not, it's stepped. I believe this BMA is stepped. All right, there's the 16 5s over here, and then it goes up like that. So I think we're looking at a stepped BMA, and you process that with what you want. My dinner's ready. Bye. I'd give you more, but that's it for now.